That will be a warm welcome to our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. This is Business Morning, Monday, March the 13th. I am Bosun Amafai on the show today, and we're live from Lagos, Nigeria's financial capital. Now, let's start the week together with almost 100% focus in the markets. It's going to be a very heavy week before next Monday and Tuesday's monetary policy meeting of the central bank. Let's look at the markets. What's going to make some headlines this week? System liquidity finished off on Friday and will be opening today around a deficit of 22.82 billion naira. Meantime, analysts in the equities market says they see quote reduced apprehension in the macroeconomic environment, and that softening would likely push equity prices to the upside. We finished almost 1%. In the week we just finished, March the 10th. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Meantime, interbank lending may head north from the current 15.25% where we finished off on Friday, as the central bank is likely to continue with rapid fireworks at the foreign exchange market, injecting more currencies into the market in intervention targeting some lower naira level on the street. Meantime, look at the fixed income space where the total of 126.9 billion naira open market bills will be maturing on Thursday. The central bank, just before that on Wednesday, will be mopping up primary treasuries via the auction, offering 170.51 billion across 3 tenors. That will leave a very small balance, less than about 20 billion on the market. Also on Wednesday, where activities will be relatively heavy, is the Debt Management Office March auction, 130 billion naira FGN papers of July 2021. That will be a reopening. The March 2027 paper will be a new paper, while the March 2036 will be a new opening via the debt office. Meantime, analysts at Cordros Capital expect the naira to strengthen modestly, quoted unquote, at the interbank spot market and the street market in the new week we're starting today. Now, it's also going to be a very interesting week. Look at the calendar of some what we consider a bit of important market and economic events for you, starting as we speak. 10 o'clock, the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange is listing the Tiva Capital Management's S&P Nigerian Sovereign Bond Exchange Traded Fund, and the first of such ETF to be admitted on the FMDQ OTC platform. That is taking place right now. And also now, we're seeing the Chartered Institute of Bankers is briefing the media on the World Banking Institute's 2017 International Conference that Nigeria will be hosting for the first time in history. That will be coming in the month of April. Today is to get the media up to speed on what this grand plan is all about for these major banking institutes holding their annual conference in Nigeria, and that will be something you need to keep on your calendar. And the debt office will today begin a 5-day sale of Nigeria's or FGN savings bond on the stock exchange. We'll hear from the stock exchange officials later in the afternoon. That listing will be at about 2:30 local time when the markets will be closing. We'll hear from the stock exchange head of markets, Jalo Waziri, later in the afternoon to talk us through this very important FGN savings bond listing on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Stick with us in the afternoon. Watch Channels Television for an update on that as the debt office gets very heavy this week on Market Street. Meantime, on the economic side of things, the Bureau of Statistics will release the February inflation report overnight. The NBA says the reports earlier scheduled to be released on Wednesday the 15th be moved backward by 24 hours. That will now come through tomorrow, February the 14th. The Statistics Office will also release the petrol products and the transport fare data for the month of February. All that coming through a very economic data-heavy Tuesday. That will be tomorrow morning, just as we're kicking it off here on Business Morning. Keep your eyes on that. Meantime, we're starting this week the countdown to the Africa CEO Forum. That will be taking place in Geneva, March the 20th and 21st. Channels Television is one of the official broadcast partners. to this very important gathering of about 1,000 Africa CEOs, some head of states and head of governments that will be assembling in Geneva, Switzerland, to talk through what are the top stories for redefining Africa's economic and business, as well as the markets. We'll be there live for those 2 days from Geneva, starting 8 days from now. Now, it was all very heavy at the FX market. Let's look at what the central bank did in the market we just finished. The regulator sold a total of $567 million in the week ended March the 10th. On Monday last week, the 6th, the regulator sold $367 million to the market. On Tuesday 7th and Thursday the 9th, $100 million were sold into the forward FX contracts space via the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. That's what the central bank did. At the interbank spot market, $70 million were placed there by the financial regulator to meet basic travel allowances and personal travel allowances, as well as those who want medical fees and paying school fees overseas as well. Meantime, some analysts said they're seeing the new economic recovery and growth plan called the ERGP, hinting that the central bank in that document will relax its temporary hold on the 41 goods and services that were placed on FX ban about 2 years ago. It was in June 2015 that the Central Bank of Nigeria placed 41 items on FX ban. Now the government says this will be temporary and will be reviewed. Meantime, the central bank is mulling fresh moves to tame Naira-dollar rates below 400 at the street market. No fresh FX market policy move is expected until Monday 2021, when the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank meets to consider its interest rate direction. That will be the second meeting in the new year by the Central Bank. Godwin Emefiele is sitting at the top of the table to do that. Also in the news this morning, these are a few business headlines you may need to consider. Well, it's all quiet now at Etisalat as the Central Bank of Nigeria and the agency telecommunications regulator called the NCC sat together late last week and saved the telecommunications company from receivership by a consortium of banks. The move was to protect